welcome to week 1 of the 2024 college football season. My name is Mike Browning. I'm the host of the College Football Road Trip at cfbroadtrip.com. We are back, and what an exciting season we have ahead of us. So much going on with conference realignments here. Oklahoma and Texas moving to the SEC, the Pac-12 becoming the Pac-2, with schools going to the Big 12, schools going to the Big 10, schools going to ACC, which is a little weird to see Stanford and Cal and SMU playing the Atlantic Coast Conference, but that's what you have going on this year. We also this year have the 12-team playoff coming at the end of the year, so that's a big change. A lot more teams are able to make it to the playoffs at the end of the year. That's going to make the season exciting as we see which teams end up making it into that playoffs. With all of that said, we have a decent slate of games coming up for week 1 as we get ready to go on the road for weeks 2 and week 3. We will be in Toledo for week 2 as Toledo takes on UMass, and we will be in Oxford, Ohio to see Cincinnati at Miami of Ohio in week 3. Let's go ahead and jump into the picks for week 1 of the season. We're going to start off with a Thursday night game. We have North Carolina traveling to Minnesota. North Carolina is a team that is kind of on that upper tier of the ACC, but hasn't quite been able to get over that hump. Clemson's usually been at the top, but this year is kind of wide open for the ACC. You have Clemson up there, you have NC State, you have Florida State, even though with their loss this past week. North Carolina has no reason that they can't be near the top, vying for one of those ACC championship game slots at the end of the year. In order to do that, they have to win in week 1. I think they'll be able to do that. I have North Carolina winning on the road at Minnesota on Thursday night. Moving on to a Friday night matchup, we have TCU traveling to Stanford in a Big 12 versus now ACC matchup. Stanford is a team that struggled quite a bit over the last couple years in the Pac-12. I think they're going to struggle again this year in the ACC as they get acclimated to a new conference and new teams and a lot of new travel that they need to do. TCU is a team that were really good a couple years ago, but struggled quite a bit last year. The question is, will they be able to find their groove again this year? I don't think they're in the upper tier of the Big 12, but they are a pretty decent team, and they are a team that should be quite a bit better than Stanford. So I have TCU winning on the road at Stanford on Friday night. Let's go ahead and move on to our Saturday matchups. Our first one's an interesting matchup with a team I'm going to be seeing in a couple weeks with Miami of Ohio, who is traveling to Northwestern. Northwestern is going to be playing in a temporary stadium this year right on campus, which should be interesting for them, but it's going to keep their attendance down. Miami of Ohio is a very good team out of the MAC that made it to the MAC championship. They actually won the MAC championship game last year, and they have a pretty decent team coming back. Northwestern has had a lot of turmoil over the last season, coaching changes, controversies, a lot of things along that line. Because of that, I'm going to pick a slight upset in this one. I think Miami has what it takes to win on the road at this Big Ten team. I have Miami of Ohio winning at Northwestern. Next, let's go to a Mountain West versus Big 12, SEC matchup with Texas, who's now an SEC team. We have Colorado State, who will be traveling to Austin to play Texas. Texas is coming off their playoff run last year. They're moving to the SEC, which will be more competition, but they have a chance to be right there at the top of the SEC again this year, make it to the SEC championship game. I will be at their game against Georgia coming up in October, which I'm really excited for. Colorado State is a pretty decent team out of the Mountain West. Texas is predicted to win this game going away. I don't think they will do it. I think they will win. They'll win pretty decently, but I think Colorado State will cover the spread pretty easily in this game. I have Texas winning at home over Colorado State. Next, let's go to a Big 10, Big 12 matchup. We have number 8 Penn State traveling to West Virginia. West Virginia is a team that struggled at the first half of last season, but came on strong during the second half of the season. Penn State is a team that is always near the top of the Big Ten, but has never seemed to quite get over that hump to make it to the Big Ten championship game. That's probably where they're going to fall again this year. You have Ohio State, which is going to be at the top of the list. Oregon, right there, is going to be there. You have USC coming in, UCLA coming in. Michigan will probably come down a little bit, but it'll still be right there. I don't know if Penn State will be able to go into that Big Ten championship game by the end of the year. I think this is going to be a close matchup, especially since it's in Morgantown, and Morgantown is always a tough place to play. I think Penn State will come away with the win, but it will be really close at Penn State winning on the road at West Virginia. Next, let's go to an ACC's SEC matchup. We have number 19 Miami traveling to Florida. Miami is a team that, again, will be near the top of the ACC, but might not be in that upper tier of it. Florida is the team that over the past 2 or 3 years has really struggled in the SEC. They've come back down. They used to always be near the top. Now they're closer to that middle tier, especially with OU and Texas both coming in. That's a couple other teams that they'll have to compete with to try to get to that upper tier of the SEC. I just don't think they're quite there yet. Miami should be able to win this game pretty handily. I have Miami winning on the road at Florida. Next, a ranked versus ranked matchup that should be really good this weekend. We have number 7 Notre Dame traveling to number 20 Texas A&M. Speaking of teams that are kind of in the middle tier, Texas A&M is a team that was supposed to be near the top of the SEC over the past few seasons. Just haven't been able to do it. Obviously, Jimbo Fisher is now gone. They have a new coach. Notre Dame is a team that has a chance to make it to the 12-team playoff at the end of the year. They have to win games like this to be able to do so. But playing in College Station in front of the 12th man, I think A&M is going to be able to pull it off this week. I have a slight upset, at least as far as the rankings go. I think Texas A&M is actually slightly favored. I have the Aggies with the win. Texas A&M wins at home over Notre Dame. Our next ranked versus ranked matchup, we have number 14 Clemson playing number 1 Georgia in Atlanta. Georgia is a team that has been in the playoffs the past few seasons. Well, not last season, but before that. They're always near the top, especially with the 12-team playoff coming. They should be able to make it back into that playoff at the end of the year. Clemson's a team that has always been near the top of the rankings. They slid back a little bit last season. They're not quite as deep as they used to be. Georgia's just going to be too tough a team. I think this will be close for a half. I think Georgia will find a way in the second half to pull away. They're just a better team. I think Clemson can compete in the ACC, but it will be tight as we go towards the end of the season. I have number 1 Georgia winning over number 14 Clemson in Atlanta on Saturday night. Next, let's go to our Sunday matchup. We have number 23 USC playing number 13 LSU in Las Vegas. USC obviously has also moved into the Big Ten this year. That's going to be a big step up in competition after they struggled mightily last season, not even being competitive in the Pac-12. And now they have the Ohio States and the Michigans and the Penn States they have to compete with as well, along with Oregon, who's moving over and will be at the top of that conference as well. LSU is a team that is pretty decent, has a very good chance of competing in the SEC this year if they can put things together and put away some wins against teams that they need to be able to win. In this matchup, I think LSU is just going to be too strong. USC struggles are going to continue at least the first half of the season until they find themselves. Number 13 LSU over number 23 USC in Vegas on Sunday night. And then finally, our Monday night game this year, we have number 10 Florida State at home against Boston College. Obviously, Florida State is coming off their loss in Dublin to Georgia Tech in a great matchup that went down to kick Georgia Tech kicking a field goal to win the game at the very end. I think Florida State's going to come home. They're going to be hurting from their loss. They're going to want to show that they can still be competitive this year. They're going to have to do that against a Boston College team that just isn't at the cream of the top of the ACC, probably not even the middle tier of the ACC. I think Florida State is going to come home. They're going to find their revenge, and they're going to win this game big. I have Florida State winning at home over Boston College on Labor Day Monday. So again, a great slate of games to start off this season. I'm really excited to see it all. We will come back next week. Again, we'll be on the road in Toledo as the Rockets take on the UMass Minutemen. I'm excited to be in Toledo for that matchup. In the meantime, go enjoy the Week 1 games, everyone, and we will talk to all of you again next week.